Today we are going to start unit number 5, that is a topic related to radiopharmaceuticals. Now what is basically this radiopharmaceuticals? So it is a branch of science which deals with the study of radioactive substances. So these are used as a medicines, they are used everywhere, they are used as a diagnostic tool also. So radioactive substances are those substances which emit continuous radiations spontaneously by itself. So any substance, when it is going to emit a radiation, any type of radiation, we can call it as a radioactive substance. So to decompose to the stable nuclei. So this compound will emit any type of radiation in order to attain the stability by itself. The emission of the radiation is not influenced by any other factors, and those factors are, it may be temperature, it may be pressure, it may be concentration, and it may be the catalyst. So these are some of the applications of the radiopharmaceuticals, as it is used as in the medicines. It is used as a diagnostics tool also. Now, before we move actually towards the radiopharmaceutical compounds and the radiopharmaceutical substances, we will discuss briefly about radioactivity and how come it is used in the pharmaceutical field. Now, the radioactivity, it is a natural and spontaneous process by which the unstable atom of one element emits the excess amount of energy in the form of either particles or the waves. Now, after emission of the particles or the waves, the remaining amount of the daughter atom can either be of its lower energy. So, if any substance is going to emit any type of radiations or energy, so the parent compound will emit its radiation and energy. So, it will convert it into an daughter atom, which will be of lower energy than the parent compound. Now, this substance, either of its same element or it may be changed into the another atom or a element. So, the emitted particles by these radioactive substance or the waves, these are called as ionizing radiation. So, if any substance it will emit any radiations, either it may be alpha, beta, gamma, delta, so many types of radiations are there. So, if it is going to emit a particle or the radiations, these are called as ionizing radiations because they have the ability to remove the electrons from the atom of any matter they interact with. So these particles or these radiations, they have ability to ionize the media, they have the ability to ionize the elements or atoms surrounding it. So there are basically three types of radiations which are there for our study, and those are alpha particle, beta particles, and the gamma particles. Now, before move towards what is the meaning of the word radiopharmaceuticals? A radiopharmaceutical is a radioactive compound which is used for the diagnostic and for the therapeutic treatment of the human diseases. It is any form of any radioactive compound which is used either for the diagnostic purpose and either for the treatment purpose. Those compounds are, we can call it as a radiopharmaceutical compounds. Now these radiopharmaceuticals are basically of two types, two components, and they are of, first type is radionucleotide or radioisotope, and the second type is a pharmaceutical, which may include proteins, inorganic compounds, and organic compounds if they are going to emit any type of radiations. Now, before we move actually in depth of the radiopharmaceutical, what is the meaning of the compound, or what is the meaning of the word radionucleotide or radionuclide? It is an atomic nucleus which is considered without relation to the outer sphere. So it is any compound, if we are going to consider without its atmosphere or without its surrounding medium, it is known as a nuclide. And if A is the nuclide, so the total number of protons and the neutrons in the nucleus is there. So the nuclide is equal to, if A is the nucleotide, it will be considered as a sum of protons plus the neutrons. Now, this is first when a radionuclide is used for the treatment or it is used as a radiopharmaceutical. Now, the second type is isotopes. So, what is isotope? Basically, there are two types of isotopes: stable isotope and a unstable isotope. And the unstable type of isotope is known as a radioisotope. Now, before we move actually for the types of isotopes, what is the meaning of the word isotope? It is a radioactive substance which is going to be emit radiations and convert it into the another type of element or atom. That type of compounds are known as isotopes. And basically, two types of isotopes are there: stable isotope and unstable isotope. And the unstable type of isotope is known as radioisotope. Now, what is the meaning of the word stable isotope? There are the nuclei of the same chemical element. So, stable isotope is a compound which has the same chemical element with same proton number and different neutron number. In the case of nuclide is a sum of proton plus sum of neutron. In the case of stable isotope, if any atom or element is going to have the same proton number but different neutron number in its nucleus, then that type of isotope is known as stable isotope. And all the stable isotopes of the same element have same chemical properties. If we are going to compare the chemical properties of the isotopes of stable isotope compounds, they are literally or they are going to behave the similar chemical properties. Now, the point of discussion of the today's class is, and the important point is, unstable isotopes, which we are again called it as a radioactive isotopes. Now, these radioactive isotopes, these are one which undergo a spontaneous nuclear change so as to attain the stability by emitting its radiations. And if any compound or any element, if it is going to emit a types of radiations, of alpha radiations, beta or gamma radiation, any type of radiation, uh, which is spontaneous process by a nuclear change. It will change the proton number, it will change the neutron number, it will change the electron number as well. So these type of isotopes, if they are continuously and spontaneously going to emit the radiations, those are called as unstable isotopes. Those are also known as radioactive isotopes. So in such attempt to again gain the stability, the nuclide or any element may change to another nuclide. So the process of changing the nuclide one form to the another nucleus is known as radioactive decay procedure, because the radioactive isotope is undergo decomposition procedure. It is undergo decomposition procedure. So that type of procedure is known as radioactive decay procedure, and it is also known as disintegration procedure. So if any radioactive element, if it is going to emit an alpha particle, this is an beta particle, and this is we can call it as a gamma particle. Now, before we move actually towards the properties of those all elements, how come this discovery of radioactive isotope will be happen? It is generally discovered in the 1895 by the French physicist Henri Becquerel, who was aware about the discovery of X-rays. Now, it is one of the type of ray which is found that on a photographic plate which is wrapped in a thick black paper, which had been placed by a change in the same drawer which contain uranium salt. So he has put down the uranium salt and a photographic plate in the same drawer, and there is something change which has happened to that photographic plate. So he concluded that there is something which is going to emit a radiation, and the compound which is going to emit the radiation is uranium salt. So he called those type of rays which is emitted by that uranium salts are X-rays, which can causes ionization of the air. So he called these rays as a radioactive rays, and this property of releasing the radiations from the elements or the atom is known as, this process is known as radioactivity. So uranium is going to emit a special type of radiations, that is alpha, gamma, and neutron, proton, and beta radiations on that photographic plate. There is a change in the composition or the ionization of that photographic plate is happening. So he concluded that there is something which is emitted radiations on that photographic plate. So there are some of the facts related to radionuclear decay procedure. And those facts or those rules of radioactive decay procedure are, it is observed that which is used in predicting the stability of the nuclei include. So this is one important property which is gained by the nucleus of those atoms, which is used for the study of stability pattern of that nucleus. So the neutron to the proton ratio, if we are going to measure the neutron to the proton ratio which is required for the stability, varies with atomic number. For lighter elements, so the ratio is close to 1. But for the elements with a higher atomic number, so there are some of the facts related to radionuclear decay procedure, and those are, it is observed the rules used in predicting the, those rules we can use for predicting the stability pattern of the nucleus. The neutron to proton ratio which is required for the stability varies with the atomic number. If we are going to study the neutron to proton ratio for any radioactive element, which is varies with the atomic number. Now, for a lighter elements, the ratio is close to 1. If we are going to select lighter elements for the radioactive decay procedure, so the ratio of neutron to proton, it is close to 1. But for the elements with a higher atomic number, so the ratio will increase above 1. Now, generally, the nucleus containing more than 83 protons are unstable. So we can call it as those atoms which are going to have the atomic number more than 83, they are going to emit generally radiations. So the nuclei with even number of nucleons, that is particles in the nucleons, are collectively called as nucleons, tend to be more stable. So the nucleons, because nucleons contain protons and neutrons, if their number is even, then they are more stable. But if the number is uneven, then they are unstable. So certain number of protons and the neutrons appear to be stable. Those are going to have the even number of nucleon number, that is proton and neutron number. So 2, 8, 20, 28, 50. So these are all even numbers. They are going to attain the stable nucleons. But the atomic nucleus become unstable when the neutron proton ratio is higher or lower than the 1. Now generally above 83 atomic numbers, atoms are going to have the radioactive decay procedure or radioactive decay. Then the compounds with the even atomic number, they are stable. Then the compounds with the all atomic numbers, they are unstable, and the atomic nucleons become unstable when the neutron proton ratio is higher than 1 or it is lower than 1. But if it is close to the 1, then the nucleons is very stable. A very high neutron to proton ratio may be reduced by one of the following ways. And if we are going to reduce the neutron to proton ratio, there are some of the ways to reduce the neutron proton ratio: by neutron emission, by proton emission, by positron emission, and by beta emission. So if we are going to attain the stability, if we are going to impart the stability in the nucleons, that time we can go for the following base: neutron emission. Now neutron emission is nothing but an atomic nucleus which prefer to emit a neutron directly rather than to emit out an electron. So the compound will going to emit a neutron which is going to be an negligible mass. Then we can attain the stability by proton emission, just like that of the neutron emission. Instead of neutron, we can remove or we can emit the proton in the nucleus. Then positron emission, when a proton is transformed to a neutron, that time positron emission is reported to occur. There is no any emission of radiation, only there is conversion of proton to the neutron will be happening. That time some of the emissions, some of the energy radiations are come out of the nucleus. Those type of radiations are known as positron emissions. And when a neutron is converted to the proton, opposite the procedure, an electron or neutron the generated, that time the nucleus is going to emit the electron or neutron. The generated electron may be emitted out from the nucleus in the form of beta emissions. So these are some of the types of radiations which are emitted by the radioactive decay compounds: alpha radiation, beta radiation, X-rays, gamma and neutron radiation, and these are their penetrating powers. Now with respect to the alpha radiation, it is going to travel, or it is going to pass through thin sheet of paper. Now when we are going to compare it with the beta particles are going to